just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. This week's topic is going to be constantly push in order to never truly fail. This is episode 172. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, appreciate you being here. At the time of this recording, we are up to my Friday again, basically Sunday morning. Obviously, when you guys hear this, it'll be Tuesday when this episode posts. But I appreciate you guys tuning in with me as always. The inspiration for this week's topic kind of comes from just the most recent developments and stuff, which kind of it's kind of inspirational in its own right. I've kind of told you guys a little bit throughout the episodes about the current progress or current, I guess, status, I guess would be the right way to describe it, of the moving situation with movers, with Planet Movers, with Starline van lines. We finally managed to, through the help of some family and relatives and whatnot, we were able to actually secure funds to actually get them paid. I basically had fought with them back and forth for the past since early June, so it's been two and a half, going on 3 months. And I'd finally, because I think they were adding storage fees, and they were adding this charge and that charge and whatever. And basically, what was like $8,500, so they wanted like $4,200 payment, like $4,275 or something for the pickup charge, just for them to even transport our stuff up here, because they have it stored somewhere. We have no idea where. Otherwise, like, we've had people that have actually said, "Oh, you should just go down there and get your stuff." It's like, that's if only it were that easy. Gotta love a rough road. It's like literally on my way back from I went to Jefferson City last night. 2 nights in a row where I had had like a little bit lighter night, because Friday night and Saturday morning I went to Pittsburgh, Kansas. They didn't have a whole lot for me to do, so basically they dispatched me bobtail down there. Went down for an equipment run. Went down there and grabbed 2 empties and a dolly, and got done yesterday by I was back at the hub by like 9:30, 9:40ish. But then I actually found out that because we have we had through some relatives, we had actually secured part of the money that we needed. Basically, we had $4,000, through a local family member. They just hadn't sent it to us yet, but they had basically said, like, we'll give you $4,000, towards the 8,000 or whatever that that you need, even though they're very hesitant to do so because the hell they didn't even want to send it to us because they were like, we feel like we're throwing this money away because you guys are going to pay this payment to them to get your stuff up here, and they're not even going to show up. Like, it's just going to be money wasted. We're like, well, if we don't pay them anything, then we're just not going to receive our stuff. Like, that's pretty much where we're at. Like, either we pay what's on the contract to have the first half of it, and then we went through a relative back in Tennessee, and they basically, instead of, because we went towards them, they were like, well, that's a lot of money, blah blah blah, and they like, can you send us a copy of the contract, the invoice or whatever showing the settlement amount? Because I basically said, like, well, the current balance is like $9,500, but I talked them down. Initially got them down to like 8,000, and then I still kept talking to them for a couple of days. Like, is that the best you can do? Is there anything else? And they're like, well, we can take off another 200, but that's basically it. So we were at 7,800, and I was telling the wife, and she wanted me to keep arguing, and I was like, love, like, I was like, now we just need to figure out how to pay them, because this is the best we're gonna get. Like, we're not gonna get them down any further. It's been a fight for the past 2 months just to get this far. And if we don't do it pretty soon, then it's probably just gonna go back up. So if we could figure this out, then we could probably get, just arrange the full delivery. So I managed to get everything in writing. I got the Planet Movers guy to basically send a new contract showing the actual amounts, which there was like 3,900 and 3,900. I had to change them because basically the relatives in Tennessee, basically what they did is they actually said that, when I got the stuff in writing, I forwarded that to the relatives in Tennessee and said, actually, I managed to get them down to the 200, so we're at 7,800. We have $4,000 to put towards it. And so basically what they did is, instead of sending us the funds for us to do the payment ourselves, what they did is they sent us a cashier's check for 3,800 made out directly to Planet Movers. I was like, that's cool. That works. There's like, we don't really care about having the money ourselves, as long as we can still pay them. That's what matters, Because our whole goal this whole time has basically been to get our stuff and put this whole situation behind us. So we have that certified check secured in a drawer at the house, and then the other $4,000 we were trying to, once we got that in writing, then it was like, I told, because it was through my wife, so I was like, why don't you go ahead and tell them, go ahead and transfer that money, and they couldn't do it through Zelle because Zelle has a $2,000 limit. And so they basically, what ended up happening was, initially they tried to Venmo her $2,000, and then they Zelled the other $2,000, but they Zelled with the account number instead of like the phone number. I'm not too experienced with Zelle, so like I didn't know the process, but then we found out that they said it was delivered and it was deposited. We never received it, and so for like the last couple days, we were watching our bank account or whatever, and not seeing it in there, and calling the bank and telling them, like, yeah, it says we got a confirmation number, we have a trace number, it says it was deposited, to our account number. And they're like, we have no records of any transaction coming through. You need to contact Zelle directly, or have the sender contact their bank. And between me and my wife, we must have each talked to like 15 different people in different departments with both our bank as well as Zelle. And finally, we came to the conclusion that we had to let the sender know that they need to contact their bank and basically put a claim on that transaction saying that they sent it, but it was never received. So it's like, we, the last couple of days, because we were trying to have our stuff delivered sometime this weekend, like either yesterday, today, or tomorrow. Preferably today or tomorrow, because Sunday or Monday. Hell, I'd even be fine if they came Tuesday, like early Tuesday, and they got all our stuff offloaded and delivered. Even though I have to work Tuesday night, if they get there early enough on Tuesday and they get the stuff unloaded, I can still try to sleep, before going into work. Obviously, I'd rather they get here on one of my off days, when I had sent the contract back, I had listed yesterday, today, or tomorrow for the requested delivery dates, and basically it filled out, changed the two amounts instead of $3,900. I listed $4,000 for the pickup charge and $3,800 for the delivery charge. Basically, it explained in the email back when I forwarded that contract back to them. I said the reason for the amounts being different is due to, like, we had help from a relative, and they sent us a certified check for $3,800 made directly to Planet Movers. I said we can't change that. We have no control over that, but we'll have that for them on delivery. I said, but we have $4,000 available to us locally, so that's why we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wire transfer the $4,000, and then you guys schedule delivery, and then we'll have that check for you guys when you guys deliver. So the last few days, we're waiting on that deposit so we could pay him. He's texting me. He's like, hey. And I was like, hey, I'm sending him voice clips, basically let him know, like, hey, Mo, trying to be all civil, like, hey, Mo, how's it going? How you doing, man? Even though I'm like, motherfucker. But I'm like, hey, how you doing, sir? I was like, here's the situation. We have $2,000 in our account right now towards that $4,000. There's a banking delay. We're actually trying to get the rest of that $4,000 because it was sent via Zelle, but we haven't received it yet. We're trying to figure out what's going on, and we're trying to get that situated. Once it hits our account, I will do the money the wire transfer through my bank, and I will send you a screenshot or whatever of the receipt, so that way you can. I was like, obviously, we'd love to have you guys deliver Sunday or Monday, but we understand if this can't get situated, soon enough, that we might not be till next week or whatever, but So I get off yesterday, and I'm at the hub, and I'm literally parking the truck, and I'm getting ready to head out. And of course, my wife sends me a screenshot from the sender, basically showing that they got an email from Zelle saying that the payment didn't go through, and it was being returned to their account. I'm like, oh, cool, all right. So I was like, I wonder how long it's going to take them to get refunded. And then she messaged back, because actually they refunded their account, like they got the money back right away. So she said that they went ahead and Venmo'd my wife. And I said, okay, let's go ahead and let's transfer that to our bank. And then I went on there to basically figure out how to go ahead and add the Planet Movers as a recipient, and set up. Of course, I had to move extra funds because like we were a little bit short because of like the fee from transferring from Venmo to the bank, and so I had to move some extra funds. Plus, there's like a $30 fee for the wire transfer. I got worried though. I'm not gonna lie, because I got when I was putting in the dollar amount, it was like, all right, 4,000, and of course initially I could have sworn it popped up saying transfer fee $430. I went, oh shit. My wife's like, what? I'm like, oh, never mind. Because as soon as when I keyed it in there and I thought it said $430, it updated and it said $30 fee. I said, oh, okay, never mind. I was like, for whatever reason, I thought it said there's a $430 fee. I was like, well, we're broke this week. I was like, it's only $30. Okay, cool. She goes, oh wow, yeah, that would have been bad. So we got that in there, and I got everything put in there. I got the money in the account. I went ahead and sent it, and then I saved the receipt showing the money order transaction, or not the money order, the wire transfer transaction. And then of course I sent a text with that PDF to Mo, said, here you go, it's been sent. Obviously, like, he was like, all right, thank you. He goes, I'm gonna get to work on your delivery, and I was like, is it possible you guys they're still gonna be here on by Monday? And he goes, let me work on it. I said, okay. My wife wanted me to be all demanding and stuff, be like, you guys still need to be here tomorrow or Monday, and I'm like, love, like, like, there's no point in trying to be forceful at this point. I'm just gonna basically be like, look, like, we very much appreciate it if you guys can get here by then. I know that the money was sent yesterday morning, so it's like that's why I did it before I left the hub. I was on the phone with the wife. I'm like, I would have been home by now, but I'm going ahead. I just figured log on here and do this since we have the money available. Let's go ahead and get the wire transfer done so they're paid. We have a paper trail. We have the contract stating what need to be paid for us to get the delivery, and we have the payment made. We have a receipt for the payment, so we have a paper trail. So if the family member that actually helped us out with that $4,000, if their fear comes true, like the fact that they were hesitant to send us, to actually, like, they didn't want to send the $4,000 because they're afraid they were throwing money away because we would probably just pay and not get our stuff. I was like, well, at least we have a paper trail, so if we pay and don't get our stuff, we literally have a court case against them, because we can be like, look, here's a contract, here's the payment, and they never show it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that we don't have to worry about them not showing up because they want to get paid that additional $3,800 on the delivery as well. So I'd be like, well, if you're making a deal to get paid $7,800 and you got $4,000 of that so far, $3,800 is a nice chunk of change, but you gotta complete the rest of the order. So that's why it's like, so it's been done. I'm just waiting on. I got to message them again today, basically like, hey, whenever they're en route and whenever you have an ETA, just let me know so that way I can let the fam know. I was like, we're just anxious to basically get everything delivered and basically be putting this chapter behind us and continuing to move forward. And so, and then to kind of lead into this week's topic a little bit, there's something else that, when we got our vehicles in Missouri, when we went and did those, we went to a dealership planning for one car, and we ended up coming out with two. And not at the same time, of course, but but regardless, same dealership, two different vehicles and stuff. Ended up working through the same salesperson. And I don't know about you guys, but like all any vehicles I purchased in the past. And here's a funny thing too, as far as like on my way back to Kansas City, it's like because I passed my exit to go home, on my way to deliver the loaded FedEx trailer, and now I'm passing our exit again to head towards Kansas City, Missouri hub, and be like, hey, I'm like a couple miles away from home right now, but I gotta go by there, drop this empty trailer, park the truck, grab my truck, and then come back this way. But so with all the vehicles I purchased in the past at dealerships, it's always been a similar deal. You get your approval, you finance, you fill out everything, whatever. Fill out your title and fees and tags, blah blah blah, And then within like 2 months, you receive your license plate in the mail because they send off the registration and all that fun stuff. Never had that be different. Like I've never had to go and do it manually, but apparently here, I was expecting, the same thing. Like we have the temp tags on the cars, expecting the, to receive our plates in the mail, and then we just basically put them on. I did get a packet in the mail, and I was like, I wonder if this is plates. Nope, it was like literally, it was like a big, one of those little UPS envelopes, and it had 2 packets in it. 1 packet for the truck, 1 packet for the Jeep, and it had like because apparently you get your title. Yeah, we actually get our title here in Tennessee, or Missouri, I guess. Everywhere else, like when you do financing, the bank has your title until you pay off your car. Apparently here in Missouri, that's not the case. Like they're still put on the title as a lien holder, but you actually have your physical title in your possession. I'm like, that's kind of cool. But so I got this packet in the mail that had a packet for both cars, and it had the titles in there, and it had like the information. And basically, the first page of this packet says, take this packet along with your license and your proof of insurance to the DMV to get your tags and registration and to take care of your title and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, so we have to do that? That's interesting. I was like, I've never had that before. All right. So I went there yesterday thinking, and I couldn't do the Jeep yet because we ended up our bank that we're financed through for that one. That's another thing I've never understood is I've had it happen once or twice in my life where we got financed, but then within a certain time frame, it fell through after we'd already driven off the lot. We'd had the car for a little bit. Like we had one that we had the car for like I think 10 days, and it was one of those little. It wasn't like a name brand dealership. It wasn't like a Ford Lincoln or a Jeep or Dodge or Chrysler or any of those. It wasn't like one of the name brand ones. It was like I can't remember what the actual name of the dealership was, but it was just a mom and pop place. They did their own financing, or they had their own banks they worked through. We put money down on this Ford Escape or something, and we got financed. We had the car for like 10 days, and we thought all was good. And the dealership calls us and goes, "Oh, by the way, yeah, the deal fell through. Like the bank backed out of the financing. We need you to bring the car back." And I was like, can they do that? Like I thought, like once you make the sign all the dotted lines, like we bought the car, why I don't want to bring the car back. But I went ahead. I came back with the car, basically dropped it off, and said, "When do we get our money back from the down payment?" "Oh, that'll be in the mail for you." I'm like, so your deal fell through with the bank, and yet we have to wait on getting our money back from you guys. I was like, I'm gonna be putting a negative review online for you. "Well, really sorry, sir." I'm like, yeah, whatever, fuck off, I'll let everybody I know don't buy a car here because they'll finance you and then go back on the deal. They're like, "Oh, well, it's out of our control, sir." Whatever. So had that happen, and then what happened with my wife's car? Like Capital One Auto Finance initially was doing the deal with her car, but then I guess because previously we had a different car for her that we'd had for like 5 years or whatever, but we're sending that with the bank because there's still like 2 years left on the loan, and it's upside down, and too many things wrong with the car that we'd have to put money in, like so much money into it to basically fix it up. And it's like, yeah, it's not worth it. Let's just let the car. Actually, it's not even 5 years, probably 4. But both my wife and I were like, you know what? We don't want to put $5,000 to $10,000 into this car that we still owe like 17 on. Let's let it go. Let's send it back to the bank voluntarily, whatever. And then let's just get you into something newer. And so Capital One initially did the deal, but then they were like, yeah, but we see this other car on there that's showing late, a little bit late on it. It has to be current for us to do the approval. And I was like, well, yeah, but that car is being surrendered back to the bank. Like, oh, did they have possession of it? I'm like, no, ma'am, not yet. Like that, they have to come pick it up because it's not drivable. Like, it will not go on the highway. It's like it needs an engine rebuild. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So basically, I ended up, we got a call one day from the finance guy that we worked through that filled out all the paperwork, whatever, and he basically said, like, yeah, so we have good news. Well, bad news, but we have good news. Like, the loan fell through with Capital One, but we have another approval that we're going to use that one for the Jeep. We need you guys to come back in and fill out the paperwork, fill out the new contract and stuff. And we're like, huh, okay. So, when I received the packet for the Jeep, the title for that one had Capital One written in the lead holder side. So when I got home yesterday, because the DMV was actually up until noon on Saturday, I was like, oh, hey, I might actually be able to do our plates. Awesome. I called him to try to get him on the phone and ask him. I was like, hey, they're still up until like noon. And I was gonna try to go ahead and do the plates, but it has Capital One listed on the title for that car. What do I do? Like, he's like, yeah, you gotta wait. You can't do the registration quite yet on that car. But we're once everything finalizes with the bank, we'll have a new package sent to you. I'm like, oh, okay. So all right, that's fine. So I grabbed the packet for my truck, and I printed off a copy of the insurance, and I went ahead and headed up there. I literally got up there like 10 minutes before 12. I was like, I hope I can get in. I hope they're not gonna like, oh, I'm sorry, it's too close. Because I heard basically they'll let you in as long as the doors are unlocked and it's before closing time, they'll actually let you come in and register. So I was like, all right. So I got there, I signed in on the little sign-on computer or whatever, and waited. And of course, like once they locked the door or once they shut the system down, people still came in, but they're like, sorry, we're closed. Like the system automatically shuts down at 12, so nobody else can come in and register. But people would come in that were like on the list previously, but they left for whatever reason, and then they were trying to come back, and they're like, I'm sorry, we can't, we can't, like, we're closed, whatever, like, you can't register. They're like, oh, we were already on the list, but we were missing this form, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we can help you out. So it's like, huh, but... So, sat there and waited for a bit until they ended up calling, they were calling people up, and the room was clearing out pretty quick because they had like 10 people working the counters, and so went from having like a full office when I walked in. I texted the wife, I said, I'm hoping I'm not here for a couple hours because they still got a lot of people here. But once they stopped receiving new people, they were working through the list pretty quick. I got up there, I handed the packet to the lady or whatever, and I'm thinking, okay, like, hopefully it's like maybe 100 or 200 or less, because I did the title and stuff, so I don't know how much it was going to run. She was like, well, we could do the title today, but we can't do the registration, because she's like, well, your Ram that you traded in, was that registered here in Missouri? Looking back, I should have said yes. But, I'm sure there's a way they end up probably verifying that. But I was like, no, it was Tennessee plates. Oh, okay. So, yeah, so we could do the title, but we can't do the registration because you're going to need to go to the courthouse and get a property tax waiver. I was like, okay. I was like, I said, yeah, so I'd wait until Monday to come back in and bring all that. I was like, all right, do you know how much everything's going to cost? Like, because I'm just making sure I plan ahead, so I come in here if it's gonna be like $100. She goes, oh, you mean like an estimate? Okay, yeah. So she starts writing stuff down. She's like, so registration 15 or 18 or 7, it was like 12 or 15 something. Title $8. This other charge is like pretty small. And then she got to a number. She wrote 1,500 something. I was like, whoa, hold on. What the hell is that? Sales tax. I'm like, what do you mean sales tax on the vehicle? She's like, yeah. I'm like, but we went through a dealership and we got financing through the dealership. Wouldn't that we would have paid that at the dealership, right? She goes, no. I'm like, what are you talking about? No. She's like, so she looks at the paper. She goes, no, you didn't pay the sales tax when you purchased the vehicle because Missouri, that's I guess dealerships don't charge sales tax when you buy the vehicle there, and then you basically, I guess when you register go to register. I guess you pay the sales tax as well as the registration. At the counter, I'm like, so we're talking like for me just to get plates for my truck, I pay like $1,600. She was, yes sir. I'm like, wow, okay. So I was like, I'm not coming back Monday because I don't have that kind of money right now. I'm like, I was planning for maybe like $100, maybe a couple hundred if, you know, depending on how much the title and stuff like that was. But holy crap! So I was like, all right. I was like, so I was like, I guess I'll be back or whatever, you know. And I was like, and plus, like, so I was like, so I got we're gonna have to do that for my wife's car as well, right? She says, yes sir. I'm like, I was like, probably be about the same thing. She goes, well, you have to take the net, what it shows the net purchase price of the vehicle on the packet, and you times it by the percentage for the to determine the sales tax on it. I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. So, funny thing is, my wife and I, since we've moved up here to Missouri, we've noticed a lot of cars that had the dealer temporary tags that they put on there for like 60 days or whatever. There's a lot of them that are long since expired, like from like last year, like 2024, like a year old. Don't have regular plates, and we're like, you guys are bold. And I'm like, so I text my wife, like, you're not gonna believe this shit. I was like, so no tags for me today. I'll show you what I'm talking about when I get home. She goes, oh wow, okay. I get home and I show it to her, and I'm like, yeah, so apparently just to register the truck, it's like $1,600 because we gotta pay sales tax. She goes, did we do that at the dealership? I'm like, apparently not. I went and grabbed the packet, the finance paperwork on my truck to kind of be like, to kind of, you know, check to see all the different numbers like taxes, fees, whatever. And of course, I verified on there, it says sales tax 0, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. But the lady at the DMV told me that, she goes, well, but they're passing a new law, so in 2026, dealerships are going to start charging sales tax at the time of purchase. I'm like, well, this is new for me because I've never had that even be a possibility. I've always, like I said, you buy at the dealership, you fill out everything, and then you leave, and basically within like 2 months, a month or a month and a half, you get your first statement from the bank, your financer, for how you know, where to send your payment for your monthly payment, and then you receive your license plate. I remember the days when I think we used to get like, I think we used to get 2 plates way back in the day. We had one for the back and one for the front. Now I just get one. You know, you can put it on the back or the front. But, no, case in point, I'm literally getting ready to pass the car now that has a temporary tag on it. It says 8. It's like August 2nd, 2025. It's like, yep, that just recently expired. So it's like, you know, it's interesting, but I see them around quite a bit, and it's like, I wonder if they, like, you know, I've heard they're cracking down on expired plates up here in Missouri, but at the same time, you still see all the expired ones, so it's like, well, yeah, if you're taxing the hell out of them, you know. So, like, I was like, all right, well, we need to figure out how much the sales tax on your car is going to be, and so I gave her the purchase price of her car, which was like the net price is like $24,300. So she did the math and whatever. She goes, oh, it looks like it's like that, like 1,000. It's like 1,025, and I'm like, that sounds wrong because mine is like 1,600, and my vehicle is a little bit older, so the price is a little bit less, I think. So she's like, well, yeah, it says like Missouri is like 4% sales tax, 4 point something. I'm like, okay. I went to look it up myself, and yeah, that's true. But apparently, there's Missouri tax, you know, sales tax, and there's the city that we live in, sales tax, and then a county tax. It's for a combined sales tax, 8 point whatever %. And I'm like, holy crap. So I found that, and I did the math on my number for my truck, and I came up with what the lady had written down. So I was like, okay, cool. So that's how she got that number. So I did my wife's car, and I was like, so you're looking at your sales tax for your car is like $2,100 something. She goes, good lord. I'm like, yeah. She goes, so we need to. She goes, so we should reach out to the finance guy that has us in that group chat, since we had to go back there and fill out the stuff with the new bank for her car, and basically point out like, you guys didn't tell us that basically we're gonna pay the equivalent of a rent of a house payment per each car just to register, because we have to pay the sales tax separately. And I was like, yeah, because I had no idea. Like I didn't even think to even look, because you know we've never come across that before in the past. So so to kind of lead back into the current topic, it's like, yes, I'm stressed out about the fact that now we have to figure out, and apparently every month that we don't, because you have 30 days to pay your sales tax, and then every month after that it adds $25, like a $25 fee on top of that. And I'm like, so obviously we got to get it, taken care of, because I don't want to drive around with expired temporary tags for too long. But it's gonna take a minute, because I gotta put aside $1,600 just for the truck, and then I gotta we gotta put aside like $2,100 for her car. And it's like, I was thinking about it last night when I came to work, and it's like, yeah, I'm stressed about it, but with the fact that we have the moving situation actually in the works, like we paid that pickup charge, and we're just waiting on them to actually like pick up our stuff and actually bring it up here. We know that that's actually going to happen, and that goes into what I had said before about like that I'm kind of like still a firefighter, because I'm putting out little fires, taking care of little situations, and so we've for a while I was telling the fam with the moving thing, like, I don't, like, we're gonna get our stuff back, I don't know how we're gonna get our stuff back, how long it's gonna take, whatever, but yeah, here we are approaching that milestone. So now so we'll get that taken care of, and I'm stressed about the car stuff, as far as the money, because I'm like, good lord, like, there's always something, like there's things we want to do, like actually like get into a habit of maybe going to a movie as a family, but I joked with the wife, saying like, yeah, I want to do that too, but we have so many big expenses that are having to go out, things we're having to put money aside for or figure out how we're going to pay, that it's hard to say, yeah, let's go ahead and put 150 aside for a family movie night or something. And I say 150 because, like, when you go there, yeah, it might be 60 or 70 or whatever for the tickets, but then you gotta get concessions. You gotta get popcorn and stuff. That's just a must. Cannot go see a movie without popcorn. Especially the movie theater popcorn. Lots of butter, lots of the orange popcorn salt, whatever. Got it. Just have to. But we haven't even been able to justify doing that, because we want to make sure that we pay the things that need to get paid. Want to make sure we have the money for groceries, whatever. So I'm stressed about that, but then I'm thinking like, yeah, it's just another thing, another fire to put out, another thing to take care of, to figure out what we're gonna do. And so I'm not gonna let myself overly stress about it, because it's not a huge deal. It's not like if we don't pay it right now, we don't have our cars, because we still have our cars and we still have the car payments. So we still have them in our possession, and we're still driving them. It's just obviously we got to figure out the money side to figure that part out. To actually get valid plates on the cars, which is like, all right, whatever. So once the moving situation is settled behind us, then I can be like, all right, now we need to put money aside weekly to plan for those. But I joked with my wife. I said I wouldn't really feel comfortable asking for additional help from who helped us with the $4,000, because of the fact that they just helped us with $4,000, and then of course this situation pops up. It's like, all right, always some situation that needs to be taken care of, some fire needs to be put out, whatever. So I'm like, we'll figure it out. We'll get it done. I was like, right now I'm taking the win. The fact that Then we got the pickup charge paid with the movers, and so now we're just waiting on them to deliver. So even though we have the car situation, you know what? I'm not gonna let that drag me down too much. I'm gonna take the win as far as the moving situation, and we'll just deal with this. Once this is taken care of, we'll work on this. So it's like, all right. So, but for the topic, you know, constant efforts or whatever for never truly failing. Basically, no matter what it is in your life, if you have, you know, whatever, like goals, if you have stuff you got that you're trying to figure out, you might fail for years. You might, or not fail, but you might be working on something, trying to figure out a solution to a problem for years. And you have no idea how you're going to pull it off. So that's like me with the moving situation. You know, I was like, I have no idea what we're going to do. I have no idea how this is going to work out. But I'm telling the wife and the kids, like, this is going to work out. We're going to get her stuff. You know, we'll have this situation behind us at some point. Because I told my fam, I was like, I am not accepting the possibility that we just won't get our stuff back and it's just going to be a loss. I was like, I'm not accepting that. No, that's not going to happen. And so here we are waiting. Now they're paid and we're waiting on them. So it's like, okay, cool. Like, this is in the works. It's being worked on now. He's working on the delivery now. So, and then after this is done, we'll move to the next item, you know? And then all the while trying to make other plans, like, all right, I want to put money aside, save, you know, build a nest egg so that we're not just living check to check, and we have something to fall back on that we will continue to add to, continue to grow, continue to make it better, you know? Because you know it is when you're building a nest egg, when you're saving money, you put money aside, and you're deliberately not touching it, you're letting that grow. Even if you're living paycheck to paycheck otherwise, you still have that, you'll feel that little bit of security because you have that on the background. You're like, all right, cool, I have this money that I'm putting aside. You know, if something happens, we can tap it if we need to, but otherwise we're just letting it grow. Plan it for the future, plan it to, you know, that way, because I told my friend Rico that I was like, hey, you know, it's like, my goal is to get to a point where we have a nice chunk saved and we're continuing to add to it, but be in that position where if a family member or like a close friend all of a sudden needed help, like, hey, like, I have such and such going on, I really need help, can you spot, you know, can you help me with like 500 or 1,000, and us be in a position where it's not going to really affect us too extremely to be like, yeah, sure, we just cut him a check. Like, here you go, you know, like, get it, do what you gotta do, get it taken care of. You know, because that's a nice spot to be in when you actually can financially help somebody, you know, help a friend or a family member that's in need. It's nice to be able to do that. I mean, we've been able to do that on occasion over the years, but I'm already planning for how we can get in that position again. So, no matter what it is, always be moving forward. Always be working on, like, continue trying. Never give up on the dreams that you have, on the things that you're having to figure out how to take care of, how to accomplish, whatever. Like, you may not have any idea how to do it. You may even have doubts that you can do it. Like, maybe it's like with the movers. I was like, I don't know how we're gonna come up with $8 grand to pay them, and then of course here we are, we got it paid, and it's in the works. So it's like, it can happen. Sometimes you need help from other people in your life, but it can get done. You just have to just keep believing that it's possible, keep working towards it, keep telling yourself that it's going to happen, and refusing to quit, and just keep trying, keep making efforts, keep, you know, trying to make plans, keep trying to look at other ways that you can pull it off, until you get to that point where somehow it just all of a sudden everything falls into place, and you get it figured out, like, it actually happens. Because Because you're like, oh wow, okay, cool. I didn't realize. I didn't know. I had my doubts as to if I was actually gonna get to accomplish this. This is awesome. I was like, yeah, because you didn't quit. You know, you just kept at it. So, you know what I would say, guys? Just keep pushing forward. Keep believing that it's gonna happen. Have faith in yourself. Don't listen to what everyone else says unless they're telling you positive stuff. But if there's people in your life that are casting doubts on what you're trying to do, and hell, people or the family member that helped us up here with that $4,000, they obviously don't have faith that it's gonna happen. They feel like they were just throwing that money away. Because they feel like we were just gonna pay that $4,000 for the pickup charge, and it was just gonna disappear. And we're like, yeah, but we have a paper trail on everything. So we have the contract, we have the receipt for the payment. It's like if they just disappear, all of a sudden, we can take them to court, go after them for the full amount of everything plus our stuff. But we had those like that. We had them plus other people. And tell the financial advice company that we were recommended to work through from our same family member. Basically, they even said the same thing. Like, we wouldn't pay them anything. We would just wait to get your stuff and then pay them. And we're like, they're not going to do that. Like, they want that first payment in order to even transport our stuff up here. I was like, and if we go about it with your guys' way, then we're just going to accept that our stuff's lost. Like, we're just not going to get it. Well, we just wouldn't trust them. Well, I hear you. But, sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do. And so we have to pay them to get our stuff, and we're trying to secure the funds so we can get them paid, so we can try to actually get our stuff and get this behind us. So interesting. Come pulling in here a block or so away from the FedEx hub in Kansas City. It's like there's a rainbow coming down from the sky. I'm like, hasn't rained here, so although there is overcast and stuff, so I'm like, rainbow, that's it, right? So, as long as you don't fully give up, and as long as you don't quit trying for the things that you're trying to figure out in life, you'll never truly fail. It goes back to what I've always said in the past: we only fail if we quit, give up, and walk away. As long as we keep getting back up, keep fighting. We haven't failed at what we're trying to do. We may not have succeeded yet, but we haven't failed. And if you keep, let's say you're at, you're working at it for years, and then you finally succeed. You weren't necessarily failing for years. You just hadn't accomplished it yet. And then you pull it off, it got done, and you're like, hey, cool. Like, yeah, I knew it was gonna happen eventually. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So anyway, y'all, on that note, pulling back in here to the hub. Anybody who, my passive Bitcoin miner thing continues to grow. It's pretty awesome stuff. Not having to put in actual work for it. This is growing daily. But if you want to find out how to do that, even to get free information about it, check it out. PassiveBitcoin247.com. Or that link's always going to be in the show notes on each episode. But on that note, I appreciate you guys, and stay tuned, because obviously coming up in a little bit after this episode will be the Raw Chat segment for the week. But on that note, you guys keep being awesome, keep pushing forward, keep believing, do what you gotta do, never give up, never quit, and I will talk to you next time. Have a good one.